Hey, this is Super KRM from the TEKKENMANIA team. In this video we will show you how we modded this arcade stick. And also we have a little surprise at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Okay, before we start with modding our arcade stick here, we will need the following tools, or at least some of them, and at some point. We will need a knife or something similar, a scissor, flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, a side cutter, a wire stripper, a soldering iron and a heat glue gun. And this is probably all we need. For some point, for some arcade stick, we will need something different tools, but that's all we need for this one. Next I will show you which part we will build into our arcade stick. We will use the Brooks Universal Fight Board as the heart of our arcade stick. Then I modded a Myoungshin Fanta 2019 version. We will use as buttons 30mm Samducksa SD S202s, clear. A LED stripe for some to lighten the buttons. 24mm Sanwa buttons for our option select and stuff like that, and 24mm Seimitsu button, clear one for our top panel, USB cable for connecting to the station, Daysichain for our ground wiring, regular 2.8mm Crimp Cables for the wiring with our buttons, then a 1.87 harness, 5 to 8 pin converter for our Korean arcade stick here, some Ziptiles, Shrinktubes, and that's basically all we need.
First of all, we start with disassembling our arcade stick. Unscrew the button plate, or in the case of the Hori fighting edge, all 3 button plates. Next we will take out the Hayabusa stick. To unscrew the ball top, use a flathead screwdriver and unscrew the ball top by hand. To remove the rest of the lever, simply unscrew the mounting. Now you can lay the arcade stick on a flat surface. Let's get to the old wiring. Unplug all female connectors from the PCB and buttons. If you got cables which are soldered to a PCB, just remove the entire PCB. If you need to let the PCB in place, because it's kind of part of the case, just cut the cables with a side cutter. Now we get rid of the old 30mm push buttons. To remove the buttons, push the two snappers together, then push the button out of the metal panel. If you got trouble because the button is located in a tiny corner of the case, use a flathead screwdriver to push the snapper in. Last but not least, we'll remove the Plexi. Just unscrew the bolts on top and lift it off. Now is the time to make this bad boy beautiful on the outside. Lay your new printed artwork on the panel of the arcade stick and put the Plexi back in place. Make sure that the position of the art is right if your artwork isn't pre-cutted. Now we cut out the screw holes with a scalper. You could also pinch them carefully with a sharp scissor. Put the screws back in before you cut out the buttons and lever holes, so the artwork won't move. Now cut out the rest of the holes. If you don't got a scalper, you can also use a box cutter. While cutting the button holes, make sure to note which button it is, if you want to put the artwork into clear button like I did. If all holes are cutted, we can go to the next step. Put the art into our clear buttons. Unscrew the screw ring of our Samducksa SCD 202C buttons. Then take a Phillips screwdriver or a pen to remove the plunger from the button. The following step will be to remove the inside of the plunger and use it as a stencil for the design inlays. Cut the marked design with the scissor and assemble the button. Since I wanted to use a removable cable for this arcade stick, we will use a Neutrik, or in other words a breakout. The Neutrik got a regular USB female port on the one side and a USB B female port on the other. We want to use the USB B part on the outside. If your Neutrik is assembled like mine with the regular USB part on the outside, don't panic. Just unscrew it and switch positions. Make sure to assemble it correctly on the first try, so you can say that you're probably much smarter than I am. But yeah, just do it like this. Yeah, I got it at the end. For the Neutrik you need to drill a 24mm hole into your case. I used the old cable doors of the fighting edge to store the Neutrik and the other push buttons I needed.
And next we will put in our universal fight board.
I wanted to mount the universal fight board at the same place as the old PCB. Since it is smaller, I used a piece of Plexi in shape of the old PCB. The UFB is mounted to it with regular PCB legs.
Next part is the wiring on the stick, which will take probably the longest time of this video. Okay. I will start now to attach the ground wiring for the punch and kick buttons, which I will do with the Daysichain, which is basically this.
Okay, let's get to the annoying part. We start with the Daysichain on our 30mm push buttons. The end of the Daysichain goes into a screw connector on the universal fight board, which says GND, which stands for ground. After that, we ground wire the other buttons like option, chair, touchpad and the home button. The reason we use a separate Daysichain is that I built in a kill switch for tournament mode. I mean, nothing is more annoying by losing a match by pressing the home button, isn't it?
Hell's feet, right hard with the comeback. Tap. No!
The last step is to wire all buttons with our 2.8mm crimp cables, and again, don't be dumb like me and buy colored cables. It was really annoying to wire all the cables with just black cables. And I connected all cables to the buttons and wired them to the screw connectors of the PCB. The universal fight board comes with a wiring diagram if you don't know which button goes where. I glued the LED stripe to the case and slinkly connected it to a VCC and a ground entrance on the universal fightboard.
Now for the next part of our LED work is we got two LED strips on the one on the left and one on the right side, and we will reattach it to the universal fightboard, so we can reuse it actually. On the LED stripe we got three phases. We got black and a colored one for the let me look, for the VCC entrance, and the white one for the actual ground entrance, and we will have to put it together. For this part we won't use soldering, we will use something special, because we have to attach a 100 ohm resistor to it. Okay, so now I will solder the touchpad button, so you can restart the practice mode in Tekken 7 to the universal fightboard. On the universal fightboard there's no screw-in place for the touchpad, so you have to solder it. That's a bit shitty, but let's do it. So we will head to the place J4, and there we have TP key. You can see it like this, and here it is the square pattern. Okay, last but not least, I will cover all the cables a bit, put them together nicely, and fix the doors here with some hot glue. And after that we will head to the lever and put the stick back together. So I will attach the 5 to 8 pin converter to the Korean stick now. As we can see, on the universal fightboard we got curtain collars for the directions. The lever will be mounted like this, and if you turn the stick around, this is how we play it after. So this is the left input. We look at the micro switch, so it's this one. So we will start here. This is the yellow one. Yellow one is this. Probably we will start at the green one, because it's the shortest. It's the right input. It's on the opposite direction, so it's here. Now we will put the lever into our arcade stick, and after that we are almost finished. We will just test the inputs and see if our lightning or our light LED stripes are working. So this is the final result of our arcade stick, which you can actually win at TEKKENMANIA II just by attending the tournament. The stick will be raffled before top 8 and hopefully a stick player will get it or someone who will be a future stick player then. So, see you at TEKKENMANIA II.